At this point, we are only a few days out from the launch of Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which is without a doubt one of the most anticipated COD games that we've seen in a hot minute. From its multiplayer experience to the return of Spec Ops to the realistic as can be campaign, every aspect of Modern Warfare that we've seen so far promises a lot of content right out of the gate, with plenty more to come after launch as well. Throughout the past few months, we've seen trailer after trailer, teaser after teaser, blog post after blog post, all showing off what the game has to offer this year. So, with that headed into MW, we already know a lot about the game, but there are still plenty of things out there that have been kept on the DL, so they are a little bit lesser known, if you will. And today we're taking a look at 8 things in specific that you probably did not know about Modern Warfare. Before we jump into that though, if you are new here, or if you are part of the 58% of viewers who are not subscribed to the channel, feel free to subscribe with your notifications on. That way you can stay on top of the latest news and intel when it comes to Call of Duty. Also, if you guys enjoy the video, let me know by dropping a like rating on it, as it would be much appreciated. And now let's get into 8 things you probably didn't know about Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Let's start off by talking about Crossplay, as it is easily one of the most anticipated aspects of the game this year, as this is the very first time in Call of Duty history that Xbox, PlayStation, and PC will all be able to party up together and play in the same lobbies as one another. Crossplay in and of itself is a huge feature, but there's actually a lot more to it than just being able to play with your friends who are on other platforms. Tyler over on Twitter ended up tweeting at Joel Emsley, who is the studio art director for Infinity Ward and also one of the faces of the studio when it comes to community interaction. And in this tweet, Tyler asked Joel if there was going to be a way to form a party chat across the various platforms, or if the only form of communication will be through game chat. And Joel simply replied with yes. Now, while that might be a very, very basic reply, it is also a huge one, as it confirms that PC, Xbox, and PlayStation will all be able to form cross-platform party chats in some way, shape, or form in order to communicate with one another in case you're not all in the same Discord server or other private call, which is going to be an absolutely fantastic feature for players who don't necessarily have access or have the means to those alternative communication methods. Moving on, the second thing that you might not have known about MW is that blueprints are not just going to be a feature that you have to unlock through the battle pass or whatever other means of unlocking them we have available, as blueprints can actually be manually created and saved. Over on Reddit, someone asked if player-created blueprints were going to be a feature available in the game, and our friendly neighborhood Joel Emsley also replied here saying, quote, "The system supports the ability for you to create your own custom blueprints, name and also save them," end quote. So you can mix and match attachments and camos and create your own custom blueprints to save for a rainy day. And here, for me at least, this raises the question, will we be able to share our custom blueprints? If we have the ability to name and save them already there, I think it would be awfully cool if we could end up uploading them to a community hub where we can view other players' blueprints and download them to use for ourselves. In my mind, that would be an absolutely awesome feature. Anyways, next up, the third thing that you might not have known about the game this year is that in some parts of the world and on some platforms in specific, the game is actually releasing a bit early. Technically, the official release date for the game is October 25th, which is in fact this Friday, but if you play the game on PC, the game is actually releasing worldwide at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday the 24th. So if you live in North America, the game is actually releasing a few hours early on PC in specific, and for the rest of the world, whatever 9 p.m. Eastern Time is in your local time zone, that is when the game will become available to play. For console though, digital versions of the game will be released at midnight in your local time zone, unless you are located in North America, where once again here the game will be dropping at 6 p.m. Pacific or 9 p.m. Eastern. So instead of waiting around for midnight to come around, you'll be able to jump onto Modern Warfare on Thursday evening in some cases, so set your alarms accordingly. Now, another thing that Modern Warfare is doing quite differently this year is its physical files. Typically, when you buy and download a game, you download one large file and it has single player, multiplayer, and all the other modes included in that said title. But here in MW, multiplayer, campaign, and Spec Ops are all separate downloads, and thus when it comes time for updates, there'll also presumably be separate updates for each mode as well. meaning if you are not interested in the campaign, you don't have to wait for the campaign update to download, and instead you can just download the multiplayer patch and jump right into that. Per the preloading screen, we actually have a campaign pack, a multiplayer pack, 2 separate Spec Ops packs, and also a Spec Ops survival mode pack as well. So one would assume each of these will also be receiving specific updates further on down the road. As far as gameplay goes, Modern Warfare is also setting some new standards, as the grind factor in this game is going to be far more prominent than ever before, specifically when it comes to weapon customization. We've already got a taste of the Gunsmith feature during the beta weekends that we saw earlier on this year, and that in and of itself was pretty extensive to say the least. But in the time since, we also learned that each weapon is going to have an average of about 50 attachments or so. That's quite a bit, but on top of that, each weapon is also going to have roughly 100 earnable camo patterns too. So if you are someone who likes to go for the max camos like Dark Matter and Chrome and whatnot, you are going to have one massive task set before you this year, because 100 plus camos to unlock for each weapon is certainly no easy feat to accomplish. Following that up, the sixth thing you probably didn't know about the game is that prestiging is actually not going to be a thing anymore. Simple as that, really. The standard progression system that we've seen time and time again over the past decade is actually being removed this year and replaced by a standard 55 levels that you can rank up through, and then after that, you'll have a seasonal rank that you progress through as we get into the game's post-launch content seasons later on into the year. So no longer do you necessarily have to worry about hitting 10th Prestige or getting Prestige Master, and instead, level 55 is now the highest base level you can achieve outright. Continuing on, another thing that you might not have known about Modern Warfare is that, at launch at least, there will be no option to inspect your weapon in-game. Griggs, the animation director for Infinity Ward, was asked if you could inspect a weapon in-game, and he responded by saying, quote, "No, we focused more on in-match gameplay features for launch," end quote. But there is some hope here for those looking for a weapon inspect feature, as Griggs specifically says for launch, meaning sometime down the road perhaps, we could end up actually getting a weapon inspect feature as a post-launch addition with a brand new update. So we'll definitely have to keep our eyes peeled for that as we get later on into the year. Then finally, the last thing for today that you might not have known about the game is that the cross-progression system really includes everything you have on your account. If you didn't know, we found out during the beta that cross-progression is in fact a thing. If you were to, say, play on Xbox and get to rank 20, and then hop on to PlayStation and link your Activision account, you'll also be rank 20 there as well. But on top of that, according to Activision support, bonus items that you unlock in-game, like for instance the unlocks that come with the Operator Enhanced Edition of the game, will be available on your account regardless of what platform you're playing on. So if that is in fact the case, all bonus items should stay on your account at all times, including things like double XP I would assume, and thus pretty much everything at this point, from your rank to your classes to your bonus items, will all save via cross-platform play. So really, you can keep your progress moving no matter what platform you're playing on at any given time, which is definitely one of the coolest things that we know about MW at this point. All around, with the official release of the game only a few days away at this point, we are headed into the title readily prepared for a lot of things, which one might look at and say, well, doesn't that kind of ruin the surprise of the game a little bit? And honestly, I'd respond to that by saying it really only gets me even more excited, because despite us already knowing quite a bit about the campaign, Spec Ops, and multiplayer modes, there is bound to be a ton of surprises waiting for us at launch as well, which really just means this game has the potential to seriously impress the COD community compared to what we've seen in recent years. With all of that being said though, those are 8 things you probably didn't know about Modern Warfare, and that is effectively gonna wrap things up for today. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it, give it a big old thumbs up as it would be much appreciated. And of course, if you are new here and you want to stay on top of the latest things happening in the world of Call of Duty, feel free to subscribe with your post notifications turned on, that way you'll always know when a new video goes live. As always, be sure to use code IMMORTAL on all G Fuel, Control Freak, and Respawn products. All of those links are listed in the description down below, and once again, thanks so much for tuning in. Until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.